Welcome back. Well, you're still with us on markets today. Well, let's get to all of the rest of the headlines that we're tracking for you. The fourth headline this evening, Lupin fell over 2% after the company is yet to receive approval for its key inhaler drug, Spiriva generic. Separately, the company has also entered into an exclusive licensing agreement with Japan's Irom Group on a particular biosimilar which is used for menopause. Now, in terms of Lupin, a couple of key important points for Lupin. The stock was under pressure today as well. They have received a complete response letter for Spiriva generic, which is basically an inhaler drug, which is $700 million in terms of sales. And the expectation was that they could hear something from the US FDA on this particular drug in the month of August. They had a target action date. What has happened is that the CRL basically means that they've got additional queries from the US FDA on this particular drug. The street was anticipating an approval soon enough and a launch in Q4. What this probably changes in terms of estimates or in terms of expectations is the uncertainty that maybe the launch or maybe the approval will not come in time for that Q4 launch. However, the company is confident that they will still continue to launch the drug in Q4. Now, like I mentioned, $700 million in terms of a drug, it is expected to add to their inhaler portfolio, which is around 30 to 40% of their US sales. And separately, they could probably make around $100 million in terms of base sales from this product if in case there are around only 3 players in this particular product. There are assumptions of wide sale estimates for it, but nonetheless, one of them is $100 million per year from this drug, and hence it is a lucrative opportunity for them. The company remains confident. They've said that they will be responding to the CRL and they will hope to get approval by Q4 and launch the drug by Q4 itself. So that would be an important trigger for Lupin to look forward to going forward. But separately, they did also enter into a licensing agreement with a Japanese company on denosumab, which is basically a biosimilar which is used for menopause. And this would be possibly a longer term opportunity. It's an exclusive licensing agreement with regards to some rights given to this particular company, Lerom. So let's see how things pan out for Lupin. Currently, the street seems to be fixed on what exactly would happen with Spiriva generic. We did speak to the management earlier in the day. Let's listen in to what they had to say.
Even at the beginning of this year, we did talk about the fact that the most important event for this particular year would of course be Spiriva itself. We do have a CRL on that, and that is the reason why we didn't get an approval in August. But having said that, we believe we're still very confident that we would be able to resolve it and potentially get an approval by the end of the fourth quarter. So fourth quarter launch is exactly where we think it would be. Confidence levels remain pretty high on this, so we are very confident that we'll be able to answer that. We need to, of course, go back to, and which we should be doing very shortly. This would, of course, not, from our perspective, not inhibit our ability to come out, with the product by the end of this, fiscal.
Okay, so that's Lupin, currently at around 664 rupees. On to the fifth story this evening then. We take a look at all of the stocks in news. Let's start with RBL Bank. That stock rallied 5% on the back of a large deal that took place, large trade that took place. Nimesh is here with the details.
Yesterday everybody was surprised with the kind of move we saw. Intraday the stock was up 20-odd%. Even today the stock is up 7-odd%. Now, yesterday post-market there was a disclosure of on the block deal data that suggested that the college retirement fund did buy 45 lakh shares at an average price of 108, which works out to close to 50 crores of worth of RBL stake that they've bought in yesterday via block deal. Now, I was just looking at this particular fund. It's a large fund globally. It's one of the big funds of the US. And globally, they manage, in terms of asset under management, they manage over $1 trillion. So it's a large fund, and maybe that's why the stock is reacted positively. Remember, today is the expiry, but the stock is in F&O ban. So bit of covering. Maybe for the last couple of days, apart from this buying interest, there could be some bit of short covering as well. What has done is this particular deal and the interest of a large fund buying into RBL Bank has led to a bit of a rub-off in the other private bank names, small private bank names as well. So for the last couple of days, most of the stocks are buzzing. But for RBL, There was a disclosure last evening that college retirement fund did buy 45 lakh shares, investing close to 50 crores in RBL Bank.
Okay, all right, Nimesh, thanks very much for that. Let's move on then. Asahi India hit a 52-week high to end the day close to 1% in the green. In fact, the stock is up 33% this year. What's helping the stock rally? Sonia is here with the details.
So Asahi India is a big beneficiary of the rising auto demand and the surge in new vehicles that have come on board. In fact, the stock is at a fresh 52-week high today. It's up about 33% in 2022. And its market cap has now hit 15,000 crores. Now, why is it a proxy for the auto segment? It's because Asahi India manufactures glass and windows for auto and the construction industry. Now, Asahi India enjoys 74% market share in the passenger vehicle industry. So all your cars, whether it's the Mahindras, the Maruti, Toyotas, you have Ashok Leyland, all of these window panes and glass is all made by Asahi India. They've supplied glass recently, in fact, to a lot of the new launches as well, whether it's the Kia Carens, the Volkswagen Tiguan, the Skoda Kushaq, even in the two-wheeler space. Now, they manufacture glass not just for autos, they do it for 4 industries: autos, building and construction, consumer, as well as industrial. And they have a very strong presence in architectural glass, which is used in all your building panes. Now, they are the second largest manufacturer of float glass in India, and they have a 17% market share in the domestic architectural glass segment. The other thing is that the earnings for this company have been very good. So if you look at the last quarter in Q1, the revenues went up 53% year on year. The profits went up over 200%. Of course, it was on a low base, but just the fact that there are a slew of new launches coming in, especially in the electric vehicle space, in the passenger vehicle market, Asahi India could continue to be a big beneficiary of this theme. Back to you.
Okay, all right, Sonia, thanks very much for that. Well, Route Mobile surged by nearly 4% in trade after Rajdeep Kumar Gupta, the MD Group CEO and promoter at Route Mobile, told CNBC-TV18 that the company expects to achieve 50% revenue growth. He also added the company is evaluating a company in terms of an acquisition. Listen in.
The large volume coming from Africa, it might create a little bit issue of price decrease on price per transaction, but I think we are well on track as compared to what we achieved in last quarter, and whatever the guidance we have given to the market that we will overachieve 50% target. We have our internal aspiration to grow our GP somewhere between 25 to 30% in coming quarters, and we are looking forward for that, and we are working towards that. So I think we are still guiding between 11.5 to 12.5% as of now, and between next few years, probably we are aiming to grow that to 14 to 15%. But as of now, if you talk about the guidance, anything between 11.5 to 12.5% is something that we are targeting right now. We are evaluating a few companies in this space. Along with that, I think we believe that in coming days, the authentication is going to be seamless, and OTP can be replaced by mobile identity. So there are different use cases which is arising now where people are looking out for a seamless authentication. So we are evaluating a company in mobile identity space, and very soon we would love to announce that acquisition. Our complete aim for next 18 months is to integrate all the acquisition which we have done. And I think we are fairly integrated the finance part of all the company we acquired.
Okay, so that's Route Mobile. Stock was up around 4% today. PSP Projects, in fact, jumped on orders worth nearly 250 crores, which they've acquired. The company's CMD and CEO told CNBC-TV18 that it bagged a 143 crore order from L&T. He added that it would maintain its order book target for FY23 as well.
47 crore order which we declared yesterday. It is more one is the museum from government of Gujarat, which is at Vadnagar, and 143 crore is an order which is the first largest order for our Vikas plant, which has come from L&T. So probably it would be very easy for us to reach to 2,200, or maximum we can go up to 2,500 crore, which we have projected for this year.
All right, well, let's move on to the real estate space then. DLF gained over 1% after the company said that it had plans to launch 35 million square feet over the next few years with a sales potential of 47,000 crores. Ashok Tyagi, the company's whole-time director, said the annual booking target of the company was at around 8,000 crores in FY23, and the quarterly run rate will improve by the end of the year.
Obviously, internally, we are trying to do better, but what we had guided the market also was that an annual bookings target of about 8,000 crores, which is 2,000 crores a quarter. So Q1 we definitely came in on. The vacancy levels moved up from 5% to about 15%. But the 85% people who were occupying, there was no rental disruption there at all throughout even the worst days of the pandemic. The vacancy levels have begun reversing now. So I think from 15% vacancy level, we are now talking about 12% currently, and hoping to come back to that single-digit number by the end of the year.
Okay, more companies on our radar. Then NHPC surged by over 4%. NHPC is in focus as they have signed an MOU with the Rajasthan government for developing of 10 gigawatts of renewable energy parks in the state. The company has also signed an MOU with BEL to set up a large capacity solar equipment manufacturing facility. AK Singh, chairman and MD at NHPC, spoke to CNBC-TV18 on these deals.
Actually, Rajasthan, the discussion is going on since last almost 6-8 months. And we have also acquired some land over there through the lease basis. We have already floated a tender for 600 megawatt, and it is under discussion with the state of Rajasthan for signing of the PPA. If it happens, then we'll award 600 megawatt, which already been tendered.
All right, on that note, it's a wrap on this edition of Markets today. Thanks very much for watching.
Tata